Meanwhile, Bloomberg reports that Indonesia has overtaken Malaysia and Thailand as the biggest emerging market in Southeast Asia. The combined value of companies traded in Indonesia reached $416 billion this week and has exceeded its neighbors for more than a month, the longest stretch since early 2013. Although Thailand held the top slot briefly, Malaysia was the leader most of the past 3 years, but stocks in Asia's only net oil exporting nation plunged with crude, paving the way for Indonesia's ascent.
Di zaman modern ini, penelitian dan pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi penerbangan dan antariksa sangat penting di Indonesia. Untuk itulah, LAPAN hadir sebagai lembaga negara yang melaksanakan tugas di bidang tersebut. Sains Antariksa dan Atmosfer. Bidang penelitian dan pengembangan sains antariksa memantau berbagai hal, meliputi cuaca antariksa, lingkungan antariksa, dan aspek astrofisika lainnya. Tugas utamanya adalah mengantisipasi kemungkinan akan terjadinya gangguan pada atmosfer bumi. Hasil penelitian LAPAN berupa monitoring cuaca antariksa sudah digunakan oleh berbagai instansi. Terkait dengan lingkungan antariksa, LAPAN turut memantau kemungkinan sampah antariksa jatuh ke permukaan bumi. Sampah ini bisa berupa bekas roket atau benda angkasa lainnya. Sampah antariksa yang berpotensi membahayakan Indonesia dipantau oleh LAPAN dan dikoordinasikan dengan BNPB, Badan Nasional Penanggulangan Bencana. Pada bidang sains atmosfer, LAPAN mengembangkan satelit Disaster Early Warning System atau SADEWA. Sistem ini memantau dan memprediksi potensi bencana berdasarkan kondisi atmosfer ekstrim. SADEWA memonitor kejadian hujan ekstrim yang berpotensi menimbulkan bencana banjir dan longsor di seluruh wilayah Indonesia. Selain itu, LAPAN mengadakan penelitian prediksi frekuensi area komunikasi yang hasil-hasilnya dapat berguna bagi masyarakat umum untuk komunikasi radio HF, navigasi GPS, gangguan satelit orbit rendah, dan mendukung sistem peringatan dini bencana alam. Teknologi penerbangan dan antariksa. LAPAN melaksanakan riset teknologi penerbangan dan antariksa yang meliputi pesawat tanpa awak, pesawat transportasi, roket, dan satelit. LAPAN berhasil mengembangkan pesawat tanpa awak, LAPAN Surveillance UAV atau LSU 01-05. Misi yang telah dijalani juga beragam, seperti pemantauan mitigasi bencana, gunung api dan banjir, pemantauan untuk pertanian, operasi pengamanan, dan latihan gabungan TNI. Untuk pesawat transportasi, LAPAN bekerja sama dengan PT Dirgantara Indonesia mengembangkan pesawat dengan 19 penumpang N219 untuk mengisi kebutuhan di sektor penerbangan perintis di Indonesia. Selain itu, LAPAN bekerja sama dengan PT Dirgantara Indonesia juga akan mengembangkan pesawat N245 yang direncanakan selesai pada tahun 2019. Di bidang teknologi roket, LAPAN mengembangkan roket sonda yang akan menjadi cikal bakal roket peluncur satelit atau RPS. Di bidang teknologi satelit, LAPAN telah berhasil meluncurkan satelit ekuatorial pertama buatan dalam negeri, yaitu satelit LAPAN-A2 atau LAPAN Orari pada 28 September 2015. Tujuan penggunaan utama dari satelit LAPAN-A2 adalah sebagai pemantauan kapal, pemantauan bumi, serta komunikasi radio amatir. Sebelumnya, LAPAN telah meluncurkan satelit LAPAN-A1 pada tahun 2007. penginderaan jauh. 8. Mengembangkan bank data penginderaan jauh nasional dan melayani kebutuhan citra satelit seluruh instansi pemerintah. Citra satelit yang disediakan mulai dari resolusi rendah, menengah, dan tinggi. Data penginderaan jauh tersebut kemudian dikembangkan untuk sistem pemantauan bumi nasional, misalnya untuk mitigasi bencana, penentuan zona potensi penangkapan ikan, dan pemantauan sumber daya alam. Kebijakan keantariksaan. Selain aktif dalam Litbang Iptek Penerbangan dan Antariksa, Lapan juga melaksanakan kajian kebijakan keantariksaan. Tujuannya agar hasil Litbang Penerbangan dan Antariksa dapat memberikan manfaat bagi masyarakat dan sebagai bahan masukan bagi para pengambil kebijakan. Salah satu hasil kajian Lapan yaitu terbitnya Undang-Undang Nomor 21 Tahun 2013 tentang keantariksaan. Undang-undang ini menjadi payung hukum bagi kegiatan keantariksaan di Indonesia. Dengan melaksanakan berbagai litbang iptek penerbangan dan antariksa, Lapan berupaya menjadi pusat unggulan penerbangan dan antariksa yang maju dan mandiri. Berbagai program dilaksanakan sesuai dengan slogan Lapan, yaitu Lapan unggul untuk Indonesia maju, Lapan melayani untuk Indonesia mandiri.
PT Digantara Indonesia, or the Indonesian Aerospace IAE, represents one of the key Asian aerospace industries, having competency in the areas of design, development, and aircraft manufacturing. Created by building the basics of technology mastery through licensing programs of helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft. Through the technology integration phase, IAE developed and produced the CN-235 fixed-wing aircraft. The Indonesian aerospace began to enter a global transformation phase through self-adaptation and a long-term strategy. IAE, which produces aircraft and various industrial products and services, is now supported by subsidiaries, along with a corporation. System that provides optimum response to customers. Using technology as its spearhead, IAE strengthens the interaction between the available business groups and at the same time maximizes capabilities to enhance product and service value. To increase its quality guarantee, the Indonesian aerospace is now working based on its experience in building an effective system, hence avoiding repeated faults and errors. To enhance the added value of product and production processes, we are developing technology as well as applying appropriate systems in order to provide good products, competitive costs, first-rate quality, and on-time delivery. NC212, with its versions, has been produced in more than 100 units. Besides having the capability as a stall, short takeoff and landing aircraft, it can also operate on unprepared airfields. Just like the NC212, the 40-seater CN235 multi-role aircraft has been successful in undergoing various missions, and it is now operated in a number of countries around the globe. Multi-role as it is, the CN235's wide ramp door enables the aircraft to carry cargoes and containers up to 4.2 tons. The CN235 is mostly utilized as a reliable military transport aircraft. Maritime patrol aircraft, rainmaker, and typical missions for helicopters. Then, in the area of manufacturing, IAE has been entrusted by prominent international aerospace industries such as Boeing, Airbus, to supply components of aircraft produced by those companies. And supported by high-accuracy manufacturing machines, in the form of various high-precision tools, jigs, fixtures, etc. IAE's contribution is not only in the aircraft sector alone, but also in the areas of design, analysis, test and calibration. In relation to defense, security and space systems, IAE is active in the engineering production sectors, such as rocket, torpedo, Aircraft Services provides maintenance, repair and overhaul services for all types of fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters, either those produced by IAE or other aircraft industries, with the scope of services covering integrated overhaul, pilot mechanic training, NTP, Nusantara Turbine Propulsion, is the centre of maintenance and repair for high-technology engines, providing services to customers from all over the world, covering aero engines, industrial turbines, trading, and general services. In Indonesian aerospace, we create value, quality products and services for your success.
Indonesia is the biggest country in Southeast Asia, located on a strategic position between Asia and Australia. Indonesia is a G20 member with a GDP of $846 billion, enjoying a 6.5% GDP growth in 2011, ranking it the largest economy in Southeast Asia and the third fastest growing economy in Asia. Construction and mining are the two major sectors contributing to the GDP. The construction sector contributes more than 10% of the GDP, while the mining sector represents nearly 12% of the GDP. Indonesia is politically stable and has a strong investment climate. To sustain the business climate on the long run, the government facilitates a range of fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. In 2011, the government of Indonesia has put forward a master plan for the acceleration and expansion of economic development as an integrated part of the existing national development planning system. This new approach involves the private sector's collaboration with the government, among others in the construction and mining sectors. The government of Indonesia has published a list of infrastructure projects which are ready to offer and get prioritized implementation under public-private partnership schemes. One of the mega projects is the Sunda Strait Bridge, connecting the islands Java and Sumatra. When finished, it will be the longest mid-span bridge in the world. Another mega project is the first mass rapid transport, MRT, which will serve Jakarta's north-south corridor. The mining sector also offers bright prospects. Indonesia is a world-ranked producer of minerals such as coal, tin, nickel and copper. Therefore, a wide range of investment opportunities are available, such as mining infrastructure, mining equipment, underground mining, geological and geophysical surveys, as well as for smelters and refineries. Currently, more than 10,000 mining companies are operating in the archipelago. To promote the smelter and refinery industry, the government implements a mineral beneficiation policy, which requires mining companies to process mining products domestically. This policy is expected to enhance the role of mining in the national economy. Indonesia offers to the business world growth, opportunity, partnership, and shared prosperity.
Since the dawn of consciousness, philosophers, poets, musicians, explorers and scientists have been inspired by the heavens. This laboratory of the open night sky could be studied by anyone yearning to understand its secrets and significance to our daily lives. The birth of Islam in the 7th century, however, invited an even closer investigation of this celestial shroud, producing extraordinary spiritual, practical and intellectual benefit for mankind. For Islam, astronomers determined the time for prayers and the direction of Mecca from any place on earth. They produced a lunar calendar and determined the dates of Ramadan and Hajj. For society, astronomers determined the length of a year, the seasonal landmarks for the successful cultivation of crops, and they created accurate tools for navigation over land and sea. The progressive power released by astronomy meant that it enjoyed generous patronage and conferred status to anyone associated with it. With this support and breakthroughs in related sciences like trigonometry, astronomy blossomed into one of the most prestigious and practical sciences of this time. This great success story began as medieval Western civilizations sank into the Dark Ages and a period of scientific and cultural degeneration. Valuable manuscripts and ancient wisdom were disappearing fast, neglected, destroyed, or simply forgotten. With the birth of Islam, the true value of this ancient knowledge was recognized. Gathering and consolidating this ancient knowledge was the first step along the road of Islamic astronomical discovery. Visionary patrons like the 9th century Caliph al-Ma'mun sent their men to gather these treasures from the far reaches of the world and bring them to the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. Here, the manuscripts were translated into Arabic, studied, corrected, and substantially expanded upon by Islamic polymaths and specialist scholars. So dynamic was the intellectual effort of the time that even before the ink was dry, new discoveries were being made, new techniques developed, and new instruments invented. Among the first manuscripts to be translated were Eratosthenes' calculations of the circumference of the Earth, and Ptolemy's great work known as the Almagest to Arabic scholars. In this book, which formed the basis for cosmology for the next 500 years, Ptolemy described the movements and pathways of a geocentric universe. As Arabic was commonly spoken and written by most Muslims, sharing this newly found knowledge knew no boundaries. Islamic scholars soon distinguished themselves through their empirical, practical, and integrated approach to research. This led to a new era of achievement, in which the blossoming of many related sciences such as geometry, trigonometry, navigation, cartography, instrument making, and even agriculture would redefine astronomy and set it on a new path of progress and innovation. The Caliph al-Ma'mun was astronomy's first great patron and a key architect of this new era. He was the first person to create and build a formal observatory with a library, study, accommodation, and instrumentation workshop. His idea of a large fixed working observatory with dedicated scholars that worked with focus to produce detailed astronomical tables, accurate star charts, calculations of the position of the planets, lunar phases and eclipses, accurate estimates of the diameter, circumference, and inclination of the Earth, as well as information for calendars, was truly novel for the time. He built the first observatory in Baghdad, and a second soon followed in Damascus. Other sophisticated Islamic observatories followed later, like the Maraha Observatory, founded by Hulagu Khan in the 13th century in Iran, the Ulugh Beg Observatory in the 15th century in Samarkand, the Malik Shah Observatory of Isfahan, the Tabriz Observatory of Ghazan Khan, and the short-lived Istanbul Observatory, established in the 16th century by Taqi al-Din. A strong focus at the observatories was the development of better and more accurate instruments for astronomy, geodesy, and navigation. These instruments included the sextant and quadrant, used to measure the altitude and movement of celestial objects, the universal and Fakhri and spherical astrolabes, 2- and 3-dimensional models of the heavens that help determine the time of day and the position of Mecca from any place on earth, the navigational compass, the celestial and terrestrial globes, and the armillary sphere, a series of concentric rings that showed how the universe worked. Islamic scholars were the real pioneers of huge observational instruments that dramatically reduced the margin for error. The observatory at Damascus had a 6.1-meter quadrant and a 17-meter sextant. The Maraha Observatory also had many large instruments including quadrants, armillary spheres, and astrolabes. So who were some of the great Islamic minds of this golden age that unlocked heaven's secrets and plotted the celestial paths of moons, comets, planets, and stars? Al-Battani, born in Haran, Turkey, worked in Baghdad. As an astronomer and mathematician, he compiled the Sabian tables, which would influence astronomy for centuries. He predicted new moons and eclipses, calculated the length of the year, and explained the phenomenon of parallax. He also recognized that our solar system moves through space and, as a result, made significant amendments to Ptolemy's observations. Al-Farghani worked in Farghana, Transoxiana, as an astronomer and surgeon. He was the first to explain the mathematical basis of the functioning of the astrolabe and corrected errors in earlier astrolabes. He calculated the distances of planets, the moon, and stars from the Earth. Abdurrahman al-Sufi worked in Isfahan, Iran. In 964, he described the first galaxy known outside our own, the Andromeda Galaxy. He wrote extensively on the astrolabe and star positions, their sizes and colors. Ibn Yunus worked in Fustat, Cairo, Egypt, and compiled the Hikmat tablets. Using a large astrolabe nearly 1.4 meters in diameter, he recorded over 10,000 entries for the sun's position over a 30-year period. Born in Iran, a hotspot for early astronomers, Al-Biruni was a classic polymath with expertise in mathematics, astronomy, geography, pharmacology, physics, and geosciences. Amongst his many discoveries, he observed that the Earth revolves around its own axis, calculated the Earth's circumference, and accurately determined the direction of Mecca from any point on the globe. Al-Zarqali worked in Toledo, Spain, and compiled the famous Toledan tables. He developed a sophisticated astrolabe called the Safiha that could be used at any location. Jabir ibn Aflah worked in Seville, Spain, as an astronomer and mathematician. He was highly skilled in spherical trigonometry and designed a portable celestial sphere, today known as a torquitum, for measuring celestial coordinates. Ibn Rushd worked as a philosopher, physician, judge, and astronomer in Córdoba, Spain. Not only was he one of the most famous Muslim medical doctors, but he also discovered sunspots. Ibn al-Shatir al-Muqit worked in Damascus, Syria, as a timekeeper and astronomer at the Umayyad Mosque. He made many corrections to Ptolemy's calculations on the movement of the moon. These astronomers were some of the greatest minds of the time, and their models, treaties, catalogues, and inventions laid the foundations for the giants of the European Renaissance. Nicholas Copernicus frequently referred to the works of al-Battani and al-Zarkali in his famous book De Revolutionibus. Tycho Brahe rediscovered the third equality of the moon's motion 600 years after al-Busjani had documented the same observation. Johannes Kepler utilized the works of many Islamic astronomers in the development of his laws of planetary motion. And Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton's proposals of an early theory of gravity followed on from the work of al-Biruni and later al-Haytham. Today, the rich legacy of these Islamic greats lives on in the 13 features of the moon, named after Arabic astronomers, in the 165 stars with Arabic names, and in the many astronomical terms like zenith, azimuth, apogee, and qibla, all derived from Arabic words. As we reach deeper into the mysteries of the universe, we owe much to these early pioneers of astronomy, who, in their fearless quest for knowledge, laid the foundations for modern-day astronomy and space science.
We live in a period of great change, of discovery and technological innovation. All areas of science are experiencing this progress, including healthcare and medicine, which have taken huge leaps forward in recent history. This quantum surge in medical knowledge and ingenuity is similar in importance to that which occurred in the Arab and Islamic world over 1,000 years ago. It was a storm of knowledge and enlightenment that still echoes in the halls of hospitals and clinics today. From the first accurate descriptions of the circulatory system to vaccination, surgery, and establishing the first real hospitals, our ancestors built the groundwork of modern medicine. The scientists of that age were often prominent in a number of subject areas. Abu Bakr al-Razi, known more popularly as al-Razi, was a shining example of this. He lived around the turn of the 9th and 10th century AD and made fundamental and lasting contributions to the field of medicine, chemistry, music, and philosophy, which is documented in over 200 books and articles, and made many discoveries in medicine through his own observations and experiments. Among his many medical achievements was to differentiate between smallpox and measles, which used to be confused before then, and identified fever as being the body's natural defense system and not a disease in itself. Possibly his most famous work is the extensive medical encyclopedia in 9 volumes called Al-Hawi. When it was translated into Latin more than 300 years after his death, it had a big influence on the course of medicine in Europe. Equal, if not of greater influence in Western Europe, was the comprehensive work of Ibn Sina, the Canon of Medicine, which was translated into Latin and used as a textbook in several universities until the middle of the 17th century. It is best known for its scientific approach to medicine, based on experimentation and quantification, describing known contagious diseases and sexually transmitted diseases, and introducing quarantine to limit the spread of infectious diseases, in addition to predicting the existence of microorganisms. In surgery, other physicians left their legacy, like Abu al-Qasim al-Zahrawi, who identified 200 surgical instruments, many of which are still used today. He also introduced plaster for setting broken bones and catgut for stitching wounds, a practice still used today. Ammar ibn Ali al-Mawsili is also notable for inventing the injection syringe and hypodermic needle for the extraction of cataracts in the first successful cataract surgery. While Ibn Nafis was the first to accurately describe the blood-breathing and circulatory system in a manner comparable to modern medicine. And those were brilliant men of science that still shine bright in the stars of science galaxy.
Pondok Pesantren As-Salam di Sukoharjo, Jawa Tengah ini adalah salah satu pesantren terbesar dan mungkin saja termegah di tanah Jawa. Pesantren yang dihuni sekitar 2.500-an santri ini merupakan pesantren modern dengan fasilitas yang serba lengkap dan aktivitas ekstrakurikuler yang tidak kalah dengan sekolah umum lain. Salah satu aktivitas yang paling digemari para santri adalah berada di observatorium ini. Pemirsa, ini adalah salah satu fasilitas mewah yang dimiliki oleh Pondok Pesantren As-Salam berupa observatorium. Kita lihat kesibukan teman-teman As-Salam sore ini. Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam. Ini teman-teman lagi sibuk apa nih ceritanya? Ya, pesantren ini memiliki observatorium sendiri. Fasilitas ini jelas menjadi kebanggaan pesantren As-Salam. Karena di Indonesia, selain Bosha di Bandung, observatorium di As-Salam ini juga menjadi rujukan untuk menentukan penanggalan Islam dalam peristiwa-peristiwa besar, misalkan penentuan awal Ramadan dan Hari Raya Idul Fitri. Disiplin ketat, belajar mandiri, dan bertanggung jawab.
نجاح إندونيسي في إطلاق مزيد من الصواريخ في خطوة هي الأولى من نوعها في منطقة آسيان. النجاح الأهم هو إنتاج وقود الصواريخ محليا والذي يصعب شراؤه من الدول الكبرى، إضافة إلى البرمجيات وغيرها من الأنظمة الصاروخية. وبعد أن صنعوا قمرا صناعيا أطلق قبل 3 سنوات، فإن الإندونيسيين يستعدون لإطلاق أقمار صناعية أخرى العام المقبل.
لفت القمر الصناعي الإندونيسي انتباه وزارة الدفاع الأمريكية، وقد يكون نموذجا ناجحا في مراقبة وتصوير التحركات العسكرية لإمكانية التحكم فيه عن بعد، ويمكنه تصوير ما يجري على الأرض. وبحسب تقييم الأمريكيين فإن تقنية قمرنا صالحة ل5 سنوات مقبلة، حتى أننا صورنا جزر النخيل في الخليج العربي.
ويسعى الإندونيسيون لتأسيس قاعدتين لإطلاق الأقمار الصناعية في جزيرتين نائيتين في ظل احتكار عدد من الدول الكبرى لهذا السوق. وستحمل الصواريخ الإندونيسية خلال السنوات المقبلة أقمارا للكشف عن المعادن والتنسيق في حالات الطوارئ والكوارث الطبيعية ومراقبة الإنتاج الزراعي. لكن الجيش الإندونيسي من جانبه يسعى أيضا للاستفادة من قدرات إنتاج هذه الصواريخ لأغراض عسكرية.
نسعى للتمكن من صناعة الصواريخ محليا ولأهداف عسكرية، وسنقوم بأول تجاربنا في شهر أكتوبر المقبل ل10 من الصواريخ ذات الرؤوس الحربية، حيث إننا ما زلنا نستورد صواريخنا العسكرية، لكننا وفي وقت قريب سنعتمد على مصانعنا المحلية.
إنتاج الصواريخ الإندونيسية وصل إلى الجيل الرابع منها خلال سنوات قليلة، كما تسعى الدولة لجذب طلبة الجامعات لهذا التخصص النادر بتنظيم مسابقة لمصنعي الصواريخ من الشباب الأسبوع المقبل. قبل 50 عاما نشأ في إندونيسيا حلم الانضمام إلى النادي الدولي المنتجة للصواريخ، لكن تأثيرات سياسية داخلية وخارجية حالت دون ذلك. واليوم يحيي العلماء الإندونيسيون تجاربهم آملين أن لا يضعف عزم قادتهم السياسيين على دعم هذه الصناعة إذا ما تعرضوا لمزيد من الضغوط الأجنبية من أطراف لا تريد للصناعات الاستراتيجية الإندونيسية أن تتقدم. صهيب جاسم، الجزيرة، محافظة غاروت الإندونيسية.